Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Today's episode, are we in a recession? Are we going into a recession? If we are in a recession or we're going into a recession, what does that mean for Tesla? Lots of questions. I'm here to give some answers from my perspective. Now, before we do that, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. Also, over the weekend, I made a video unmasking some potential Easter eggs that I found within Tesla's Q2 earnings. All right, so if you want to check that out, you can find a link here or maybe here. All right, with that said, let's get into it. All right, before we kick it off, first things first, cheers to all of you. I hope that your Monday started off the right way. I hope you're going to have a great week. I know I'm going to have a great week, so cheers to all of you, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the second half. All right, with that said, recession. Are we in a recession? Are we going to a recession? What does this mean for Tesla? So first things first, I said all the way back in February, for those of you who have been following the channel for a while, you'll remember I mentioned going to the supermarket, seeing the price of ice cream, and essentially laughing, saying, no, I'm not paying for that. Now, can I afford it? Yes, of course. But, you know, I have standards, I have principles, and one of my principles is not to pay for overpriced ice cream, which I probably shouldn't be eating anyways. But my point was, that was one of the first signs that I really thought that we were in a recession. I also mentioned my best friend, who's an intellectual property attorney. I talked about how he decided to postpone installing new shades for his house, all right? And keep in mind, this is an individual that makes top 1% of 1% type income. So he decided to postpone. And so my whole thesis was, if people like myself, financially independent, my friend who's a 0.1%er, if these are the people who are starting to tighten up their belts, what does that mean? And to me, that pointed towards a sign of a recession. And then we got the first Q1 GDP, which was negative. All right. And at that point, everybody was kind of saying, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just one quarter. Doesn't mean anything. We have good job growth, right? We heard that over and over from the White House. Oh, the job market is better than ever. The economy is good. All right. And then we saw oil go higher, and we saw more and more prices get elevated, and we saw CPI numbers come in, CPI, Consumer Price Index, so essentially how we determine inflation. We saw inflation go higher and higher and higher, all right? And then we saw all of these companies, mainly tech companies, start to lay people off, start to have hiring freezes, right? We see a lot in tech. And there's one thing history has taught us, tech tends to be ahead of recessions when it comes to laying people off. So then that leads us to this week. And this week, we are essentially on the precipice of the second GDP numbers for this year. So Q2 GDP numbers. All right, why does this matter? Well, it matters because based on what we know, two negative GDPs consecutively, two negative quarters of GDP essentially equates to a recession. Now, if you have noticed today, more than ever, right? It really started today. We saw all this talk, all this spin in the media saying how if we get a negative GDP, we're not technically in a recession. Janet Yellen came out saying this whole thing, saying, no, that's not how it works. It's not a recession. Essentially, these 8 people up in Washington, these people are the ones who actually can say if we're in a recession or not. Oh, and by the way, they may not come to their determination until 14 to 18 months after the recession is over. Okay, so what good is that to any of us? I'll tell you what it is. It's garbage. It's what it is. I'm Nick. I'm an engineer. I'm going to shoot straight with you. All right, that is pure BS. All right, so throw that out the window. If that were true as well, why is the White House getting out ahead of this? Why did they put out a blog report regarding recession and saying how 2 quarters are not a recession, or just essentially they're hyping this up to they're trying to get ahead of this recession to make it look like it's not a recession. And the only thing they can talk about is the job market. Guess what? Most people don't care about the jobs market. They don't. At this point, no one cares about it. If you're employed, you're employed. If you don't want to work, you don't have to work. That's it, right? We have great employment, sure. But guess what? People don't like this inflation. People don't like the high gas prices. People are sick of paying for more than what they need to at the grocery store. And really, at this point, it's cheaper to go out and eat rather than go to the grocery store, which is crazy. It's unheard of. All right. So all of this tells me that this is a recession. All right. I mean, the telltale signs are there. All right. So why would the White House, for example, come out and essentially try to get ahead of this and try to make it seem like it's not a recession? Well, it's a very simple answer. Because if we do fall into a recession, what can they do? There's nothing they can do. The Federal Reserve can't do anything. All they can do is raise rates to try to bring inflation down by essentially destroying demand, which, guess what? What happens when you destroy demand? Well, when you destroy demand, you fall into a recession. A little weird how that's very coincidental, right? So anyways, we're going to get Q2 GDP numbers Thursday, I believe, on the 28th. I think that's Thursday. So once we get those numbers, we will know. Now, again, you're going to see more and more spin from the whole media saying that we're not in a recession. Meanwhile, some engineer on YouTube has been calling this since February. Elon Musk has called this since essentially last year, right? But here's the thing. Let's say, for example, that the White House, Janet Yellen, that they're all right. How can I prove that they're wrong? Well, I'll give you a very easy statistic. Since going back to World War II, we have never, ever, ever not had a recession when we did not have two negative GDPs. Ever. Not once. It's happened 10 times. It's not like it's happened once or twice or 3 times. It's happened 10 times. Every time, recession. So, you tell me, it doesn't take rocket scientists like Elon Musk to sit here and tell you we are going to be in a recession if we have a negative GDP. Now, with that said, does this mean it's going to be 2008 all over again? No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. In my opinion, this will probably be a pretty mild recession. In my opinion, the worst of it has probably already been priced in. It's probably already happened. Although the White House, Janet Yellen, they may think that they can peddle their spin, their narrative, and think that we're all stupid, but the markets aren't stupid. The markets are actually pretty efficient, and the markets have essentially been pricing this in for quite some time, in my opinion. None of this financial advice. It's just what I think, and I've been wrong many, many times. So trust yourself. Take what I'm saying, use it as another dot within your analysis of what's going on. But I really do think that the worst has been priced in. All right. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to see more volatility. That doesn't mean that we can't go back lower. Like for Tesla, for example, it doesn't mean we can't test 600s again, right? 680, 650, who knows? It could happen. I'm not saying it won't. But what I will say is I think the worst is behind us. And I hate to use the B word, bottom, but it does somewhat feel like we've kind of bottomed. Now, it's funny because I keep seeing all these people also prognosticating that we haven't bottomed yet and that we're going to have a bull run and that we're going to test lows all over again. I don't know if I really see that. All right. It's just, it doesn't, there's an energy in the air and the atmosphere within people, and I just don't see that happening. I think with all the stuff that's happening right now, we're going to have elections coming up in November, and I'm neither right nor left. I'm Nick. I'm Nicholas. I'm just me. I like red wine, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Like that's all it is. So to me, it's neither here nor there. But what I can say is that I think going into an election, we tend to see more optimism within the stock market, right? You tend to see both parties not wanting to have high gas prices, right? And they can control it to an extent. We tend to see more of a excitement going into these elections rather than not. And so I think that's good for the stock market. And I also think, again, history doesn't lie. Every time we've started off the year with over 20% down within the markets, we boom back in the second half. And so far, July has proven that to be correct. We'll see how the rest of the year goes. Now, let's focus this on Tesla. What does this mean for Tesla? Is Tesla screwed in a recession? Well, I think quite the opposite. I think a recession could be bullish for Tesla. Why? Why would that make any sense? Well, first of all, Tesla has more demand than what they can deal with. All right. If you want a Model Y, a Model 3, you're looking at 6+ months out. So even if we were in a recession, even if it did have material impact on Tesla with demand, they have so much demand that it would not matter. All right. It would not matter. By the time they would catch up to that demand, we'd be out of a recession already. All right. Recessions tend to last about 8 to 10 months. In my opinion, it started in November. So I think we're about 6 to 8 months into it already. All right. Doesn't mean it can't last longer. It could be 2 years. Who knows? But I think this will be a mild recession. All right. So that's the demand part. So why am I so bullish on this for Tesla? Well, let me ask you. A company with great free cash flow, despite what Andrew Ross Sork on CNBC might say, a company with crazy demand, a company that has no debt, and a company that has so many exciting things going into the rest of the year. What am I talking about? Well, we got the share split coming up with the shareholder meeting. We've got AI Day. We've got FSD news. We got insane Q3 numbers will come out. We have insane Q4 numbers will come out. There's a lot of excitement. We have potentially investment grade update from S&P 500, I believe it is, or Moody's, one of them. So we have a lot of good things with Tesla. Name me another company in that situation. Apple? Nope. Apple just put their phones on sale over in China. And Apple isn't growing as quickly as Tesla. Okay. Microsoft? No, Microsoft doesn't have it. Microsoft has kind of their own issues. Amazon, well, Amazon's kind of stuck on that retail side, right? So Amazon has the retail side. Sure, they have AWS, and AWS is a juggernaut for them, but they have to balance out the Amazon sale commercial retail part of it. And I think that tends to bring down AWS, in my opinion. But who knows? We'll see how that looks. What other companies? Facebook? Nope. Netflix? Nope. Better believe that's not happening. Snapchat? Nope. Twitter? Nope. I mean, what other tech companies are there? The legacy companies, IBM, HPE, Dell, VMware? Nope. None of those are going to be the ones you go to. So it's really just Tesla, in my opinion. Okay, well, what about things like bank stocks? What about the blue chip companies like a Walmart or a Home Depot or whatnot? Again, I really don't see those being as strong. Again, the demand, the lack of debt, the crazy amount of pricing power, the margins, all the excitement going into the rest of the year, it's only Tesla. So I think this will be bullish for Tesla because I think investors will say, well, where am I going to park my money? Bonds? Nope. Cash? Nope. Any of these other companies? Nope. Take a look at Tesla. Tesla looks interesting. Tesla has some good news. They have demand. Now, there are other companies, don't get me wrong. NVIDIA could be a pretty good one to park your money in. Companies like Enphase, they seem to be doing pretty well. But even then, they pale in comparison to Tesla. So to me, this will be very bullish. I think we are going to find out we are in a recession. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what the White House says. I don't care what Janet Yellen says. I don't care what Jerome Powell says. 2 negative quarters has always essentially been what we consider a recession. Now, the funny thing is that they try to spin it saying, no, that's not a technical definition of a recession, and it never has been. But then when you try to figure out what is the technical definition of a recession, they can't tell you. They say, well, it's a mix of things. It's a job market. It's this, it's that, and the other. And then these people have to decide holistically, what does that look like? How does it affect? But really, there's no way we can tell you, the individuals, the people, right? We, the people, apparently that's what it was supposed to be. But apparently we can't tell you exactly how to determine if there's a recession. We, the big wigs up here, we have to tell you we're in a recession. And again, historically, this decision that we're in a recession only comes out about 14 to 18 months after we're already out of the recession. So what good does that do you? Anyways, these are just my thoughts. I'm not doing anything. I'm not getting out of the market by any means. I'm especially not getting out of Tesla. In fact, I will be accumulating even more Tesla after the stock splits. All right. I have more reasons for that. We can talk about that in the future if you want. Just let me know down below in the comments. All right. Just want to make a quick video about this, about the recession, especially this morning. It was just so blatantly obvious that all the spin was going on. So I just wanted to address it. So with that said, I want to address one other topic, which is just absolutely hilarious. Elon Musk and the one of the founders of Google and his wife allegedly Elon Musk slept with his wife, Nicole, and that led to their divorce. Ironically enough, Elon, once again, just smacks people down. Why do people keep going after the man when he keeps destroying you? It blows my mind. Talking to you, Wall Street Journal. Elon Musk literally said, "This is a lie. I was at a party with them last night." And he even spoke to them, and they said they didn't come out of either of their camps, and they're all still friends. They're all on good terms. On top of that, the chef at the party from the other night confirmed that it was true, that they were both there. So where does Wall Street Journal get this information from, right? It's people just seem to want to attack Elon left and right for no reason. All right. And the good thing is at least he fights back. At least he's not just one of those people that sits back and just let these things go by. He doesn't need a PR team. He is his PR team. Now, with Tesla, that's a different story. But regarding the man, regarding the myth, regarding the legend, he's good. He can handle himself. I just wish that these people would stop doing all this crap. And even May Musk, Elon's mom, came to his defense and essentially called out Wall Street Journal. So rock on for an awesome mom like that. All right. Well, again, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I'll probably put a video out on Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. Until then, cheers to all of you. Enjoy the week. Get some good stuff done. Have a good time with your colleagues. Have a good time with your family. And don't forget, if you like this type of content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. I love you all. Cheers.